the Proud Boys guy got 22 years. He wasn't even there on January 6th, but he supposedly helped orchestrate or was the mastermind behind the activities of that fateful day. And the judge gave this guy 22 years. 22 years for organizing riots that resulted in, well, the shooting death of a Trump supporter. Riots that the Democrats have tried to weaponize over and over and over again against Donald Trump. Riots that they are trying to blame Trump for. And Sarah Palin's comments were intriguing to me because, and this is difficult, because I believe it's imperative that we not glorify or defend or even justify the violent actions of those who participated in violent activities that day. But that was, frankly, committed by a fraction of the people who were there. Most of the people who were there to hear Trump speak. And it dawned on me, that's why they want to blame Trump. They want to blame Trump because those people wouldn't have been in D.C. that day were it not for Trump wanting to give a speech. He didn't say anything in the speech at all that could remotely be construed as an insurrection or encouraging an insurrection or even encouraging violence. He literally stood at the podium that day and said, I know you're going to peacefully protest at the Capitol. That's what he expected. That's what he assumed would happen. And then hundreds of imbeciles, frankly, decided to turn violent. And that's the story of that day. And I believe that the government has tracked down every single person. They're still tracking people down who engaged in violent activity. And you may or may not agree with that, but I wonder if you agree with a 22-year prison sentence to somebody who wasn't even there that day, who supposedly was one of the planners and the schemers, the co-conspirators of that day. Here's Sarah Palin with Eric Bolling last night on Newsmax.
Blown away by these sentences, 15, 17, and 18 years for nonviolent crimes. What do you say to all these lefties?
It's so disheartening, the examples that you've given, Eric. It makes the populace lose a lot of faith in our government, and that's an understatement. Unfortunately, what this leads to, when we recognize the examples that you just gave, the two-tier different justice systems that apply according to politics, it makes the good guy think, what's the use in being a good guy? We're going to be punished. We're picked on is what we are under the system.
I have a very important question to ask you, no matter what you feel about January 6th. Do you think anybody who burned down buildings and viciously assaulted cops over George Floyd's death got 22 years in prison? So it's an honest question. It's an honest question. It's a simple question. Do you think anybody who engaged in the violence and the riots in the streets of America post George Floyd got anywhere close to 22 years?